Good evening and welcome to the April 22nd, 2024 meeting of the Barnstable Planning Board here at Barnstable Town Hall. We are located at 367 Main Street, Hyannis, Mass. Today in the James H. Crocker Jr. Hearing Room on the second floor, and it is 7:02 p.m. The meeting notice has been previously filed with the town clerk in accordance with Massachusetts general law. All application materials may be accessed through the Planning Board website or by contacting Karen Pina at karen.pina@town.barnstable.ma.us or calling 508-862-4064. Notice of recording, this meeting will be televised live via Xfinity Channel 8 or High Definition Channel 1072. It may also be accessed via the Government Access Channel live stream on the Town of Barnstable's website. That's streaming85.townofbarnstable.us/cablecast public site. I will now call this evening's meeting to order and introduce our board members and staff, starting with Ray.
Good evening, Ray Sexton.
Tim.
Good evening, Tim O'Neill.
Bob.
Good evening, Bob Twist.
Michael.
Good evening, Michael Messinas.
Jim.
Good evening, Jim Cupfer, Assistant Director, Planning and Development.
And
Good
Karen.
evening, Karen Pina, Administrative Assistant, Planning and Development.
Welcome, thank you all, and my name's Steve Robichaud. We will start with public comment. This is general public comment, not related to any agenda items this evening. If there's any public comment, please step forward. Seeing none at this time, we'll move to our first item this evening, which is an A&R, approval not required plan. Ray, would you mind reading this one for us?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Approval not required plans. Guy Paxton has submitted an approval not required plan entitled 0 Finney's Lane, Barnstable, Massachusetts, parcel located within COMM and Hyannis Fire Districts, plan of land dated April 12th, 2024. There are a number of documents associated with this that can be accessed through the site. This is not a public hearing and does not need to be voted to open or close.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Ray. Appreciate that. We are all in receipt of a staff report dated April 22nd, 2024. Do we have an applicant here this evening who wishes to speak on this? All right. Jim, any comments on this?
Yeah, so I do have one comment. So on the Laserfiche that you received a plan similar to what you have before you in the hard copy. The only difference is the hard copy now labels both lots that are being created, both 2A and 2B. You'll note that on the bottom of the paragraph for 2A and 2B, it is noted as not a buildable lot, not a building lot, excuse me. And this was a request that I had made because these lots are for conveyance purposes and not to be a building lot. So that was a request that was made and a change that was done by the applicant. Other than that, these are two lots. They do not meet the acreage or the access. As the plan purpose states, it's for conveyance purposes only, and these are not new building lots.
Great. With that in mind, definitely seems like a very straightforward plan. Do we have any questions for Jim from the board? Questions, comments, concerns? Starting with Ray.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. So do I understand correctly, these are just going to be additions to existing lots, sort of making folks' backyards bigger?
That is the plan purpose intent. This doesn't convey specifically by this A&R. It creates two non-buildable lots for them to do that in the future to convey.
Thanks, Jim.
Excellent. Thank you. Tim, anything?
No questions, thank you.
All right. Bob?
No, I'm good, thanks.
Michael?
No questions. Thank you, Mr.
I'm all set as well, and we'd look for a motion on this item.
Okay, Mr. Chairman. I move to endorse the plan entitled 0 Finney's Lane, Barnstable, Massachusetts, parcel located within COMM and Hyannis Fire Districts, plan of land prepared by Guy Paxton, prepared by Cape and Islands Engineering, dated April 12th, 2024, as an approval not required plan.
Excellent. And if you don't mind, Ray, on the staff report, if you could just reference the findings. This is on the back side.
Okay, thanks, Tim. And we will note that the plan as submitted qualifies as an approval not required plan and should be endorsed by the board, as it does not constitute a subdivision because each of the lots have the minimum required frontage on an existing way having suitable grades and adequate construction to provide for the needs of vehicular traffic in relation to the proposed use and for the limitations of municipal services to serve such use, or has been labeled as not a building lot, and all materials and conditions of Chapter 801, Article 4, approval not required plans have been submitted and are in full compliance.
Excellent, thank you, Ray. And a second?
I'll second.
I'll give it to Tim. Tim with the second. All those in favor? Ray?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
And myself, Steve Robichaud, votes aye, and the motion passes. Thank you very much. Moving along to our second item this evening. This is a subdivision. And Michael, would you like to take this one?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. So preliminary sub number 830, Granite Capital Partners LLC, AKA GCP Main LLC, has submitted a preliminary subdivision application for review for 201 Main Street, Hyannis, Massachusetts, Assessors Map 327, Parcel 150.
Excellent, thank you, Michael. And as a preliminary subdivision, this is not a public hearing. We are in receipt of some correspondence, memorandum from the Town of Barnstable Department of Public Works, dated April 22nd, 2024. It was received today. And Jim, do you want to give a quick overview of this, and then we'll go to the applicant?
Right, absolutely. So this is yet another preliminary subdivision that is before the board. The subject of the application is for a potential subdivision of land at 201 Main Street. The applicant has submitted a preliminary subdivision plan. The purpose of the submission of a preliminary plan will be to enable the applicant, the board, and other municipal agencies to discuss and clarify any identified conflicts or concerns of such subdivision before they move on to the next step of a definitive subdivision plan. In the case of a subdivision showing lots in a residential zone such as this, any person before submitting a definitive plan for approval may submit this preliminary plan to both the planning board and the Board of Health for comments. During discussion, the preliminary plan information required for a definitive plan will be developed. So this is really a cursory review of a subdivision for to offer guidance to the applicant. Before you have a 3-lot subdivision with a drainage easement reflected on there, and the applicant is here. The only waiver request asked for is the dead-end streets, as we require an ability to continue to abutting properties, but in this case, the applicant has sought to request a waiver from that.
Excellent, thank you very much. And we have the applicant here. If you could state your name for the record, and please give us an overview.
Okay, I'm John McElwee with Ty and Bond, and I'm here on behalf of Derek Redgate, who's been working with Jim Cupper on this particular project, and also Ted Norberg, the manager of Gander Capital Properties. We are submitting a plan for tentative approval for a preliminary subdivision. Parcel is 1.8 acres. We're proposing 3 lots and then an additional outlot for drainage as shown on the plan. I've been assured that each of the lots conforms to the zoning. The zoning in this area is, which one is it? Downtown Main Street District. And there's no wetlands on the lot, and the lots would be serviced by town water and sewer.
Great.
Entertain any questions you may have or comments.
Excellent. Yeah, no, I appreciate that overview. I also want to note that we have Captain Landman here from the Hyannis Fire Department. Wanted to thank you for your effort and thought put into this. So the board, can ask questions, comments to the applicant, also to the fire captain as well. So, Ray, anything at this time?
Just that, I know, I was just looking at the diagrams. Is there any issue with the depth of the the proposed dead-end street.
We haven't reviewed it fully yet.
Yeah, sorry. Got to come up and, yeah, hit the button on the mic to make it turn green. And just start off with your name for the record, if you don't mind.
Good evening, Captain Tim Lemon.
Is like, okay, thank you.
Good evening, Captain Tim Lemon, Fire Prevention Division, Finance Fire Department. We're primarily tonight just to get some more information about.
Sorry, can you try the other mic? Sorry. We just got word that mic, I guess, isn't working. Apologize for that.
Okay, we'll try again. Good evening.
Is the button?
Green light's on.
Oh,
More green light, okay. My apologies. Good evening, Captain Tim Landman, Fire Prevention Division, Hyannis Fire Department. I'm here primarily just to get some more information regarding this proposal, and we don't see a lot of subdivisions, new ones anyways, coming into Hyannis, so I just want to get an idea of what the project's about. Any comments we'll hold off on at this time. Thank you.
sure, and that's completely appropriate with it being a preliminary, so appreciate that. We're all kind of collecting data, and we'll have more for the definitive. Anything else, Ray, at the moment? All right, Tim, anything to add?
Just to piggyback that I expected this came through on a definitive, we'd want to rely on the fire department to let us know about turning radiuses and how everything works with that street. And I don't see, are there fire hydrants on the plan?
Pardon?
Are there fire hydrants or anything on the plan?
I do not see any, but.
No,
usually
there's none proposed at this time, but we'd certainly get comments from
We'd look for
Hyannis
those
Fire.
comments from the fire department on that, on- when we see it on a definitive. That was it for now.
Okay, perfect. Bob, anything at
good,
this time?
thanks.
All right, Michael?
No, I'm okay, thank you.
Great. I'm all set as well. Again, with this being preliminary, we'll look for more information for definitive. And, again, there were some great notes by DPW, so obviously some good guidance for you and your client. And at this time, we'd look for a motion on this preliminary subdivision.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to continue the preliminary subdivision number 830 to May 13,
Wait,
20...
would you look to approve right now, or do you have the option to continue or to approve?
Oh, we're going to continue with this, right?
I would look to approve it,
Yeah, I think this is approving the.
the preliminary.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
So
yeah.
you use the second one below the or.
That's right. So I make a motion to approve with a modification or disapprove preliminary subdivision plan number 830, 201 Main Street.
Just real quick, you only read one of those. So in the parentheses, so you just say approve.
That is,
Yeah. You just say motion to approve preliminary subdivision.
You guys.
Et cetera, yeah. Go
yeah.
for it.
So I make a motion to approve the continued preliminary subdivision number 830 to May 13, 2024. Planning board meeting at 7 p.m.
Can I substitute a motion, Mr. Chairman?
Sure. Yeah, do we need to complete that motion, or can Bob cut in with a motion?
Can I amend it?
Yeah, you could certainly amend it.
All right, so
Yep.
I move to amend Michael's motion to approve the preliminary subdivision plan number 830 for 201 Main Street preliminary plan dated April 9th, 2024 by Coastal Engineering Company.
And then
I'll
you just-
second that.
And just real quick, before the second, you just want to, with the
Read
following
the,
findings.
yeah.
Yeah, you've got 3 findings.
With the findings on the staff report dated April 17th, 2024, on page 2. The application for tentative approval of preliminary plan, Form B, was submitted by Teagan Bond, Derek Redgate, dated April 9th, 2024. 2, the preliminary subdivision plan is showed on the plan entitled 201 Main Street preliminary plan, dated April 9th, 2024, by Coastal Engineering Company. 3, the applicant has requested a waiver from the subdivision rules and regulations. In accordance with Section 801.5.a, the board may waive strict compliance with these requirements when in its judgment, such action is in the public interest and not inconsistent with the intent or purposes of the subdivision control law. In accordance with Section 801.5A of the Code of the Town of Barnstable, waiver criteria, the planning board has made the following findings. Granting of the waivers requested are in the best interest of the citizens of the town. B, the plan is well regulated in keeping with the design principles set forth in Article 6 of the subdivision rules and regulations. C, there is adequate access to the lots for the uses intended thereon. And D, the plan is in keeping with the character of the surrounding area.
Excellent, Bob. Appreciate that. And do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, got a second. And all those in favor? Ray?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Michael? And myself, Steve Robichaud, votes aye. Motion passes. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. And thank you, Captain Landman. Appreciate you. Okay, moving along in our agenda. Just one general correspondence this week. It's a Chapter 91 notice for 40 Hayward Road, Centerville, in the town of Barnstable, maintenance of the Centerville River. Jim, a LCP staff update, if you will.
Absolutely. So the LCPC is rolling right along through the villages of Barnstable. The LCPC has met in Barnstable Village, Cotuit Village, Centerville, Marston's Mills, and is headed to Osterville on Wednesday night at 6 p.m. at the Osterville Public Library. All are welcome to join. We will also be with the LCPC in West Barnstable on April 29th at the community building, the West Barnstable Community Building, again at 6 p.m. And finishing up the road tour on April 30th in Hyannis at the Adult Community Center, again at 6 p.m. And then meeting back in May. Those dates are still being discussed, but we'll be meeting back in May to review all the great comments from all the villages that have been provided.
Yeah, great job so far. I know it's not easy work, so great work. And thank you to Bob, who serves on the LCP. And a weekly recap, Jim?
Absolutely,
what's been
yeah.
going on?
Yeah, so a lot's been going
Mr.
on.
Chairman, I just
sorry,
I have
sorry.
to
Oh, sorry.
interject.
Yes, Ray,
I understand that tickets are in great demand, so if you want to make it to Osterville to see Jim's show, sign up online now.
Yeah, the greatest show on turf, that's right.
That's right. And I'm pretty certain we got chips and all that good stuff too. Light
sold.
refreshments will be served.
All right, weekly recap. Take it away, Jim. Thank you.
All right, so we've been busy. Aside from the local comprehensive plan, the department has been very busy setting up for the Marston's Mills Elementary School reuse master plan. That will kick off on April 30th at 6 p.m. at Liberty Hall. If you can't make the in-person meeting, we also will be providing a Zoom meeting on that following Thursday, May 2nd, and the link is on the town's website under the planning department. And lastly, on the Saturday, we'll be having a site walk, 9 a.m. site walk at the old school site. Coffee will be served as well, and that's May 4th site walk, so please join us for that. Looking for early public comment as to what the future holds for that site. In addition, we have been awarded a climate, I use the word award lightly, but we've been awarded a climate risk assessment from the state. So we're working with the state and the Woodwell Institute to create a climate risk assessment for the town of Barnstable that will focus on future impacts of sea level rise, flooding, and storm surge. And it's really good timing. That talks about the town as a whole, but if you recall, we are also working on the Hyannis Harbor Master Plan, and hopefully both of these two projects will work in tandem. In the Hyannis Harbor Master Plan, we are working with our team at 4 Point Associates and the Woods Hole Group to understand the issues and opportunities at the harbor and what that would hold. We're hoping to have a public meeting on where we stand on existing conditions and future conditions in middle to late May. Lastly, we're working with a good team on the Osterville Playground Committee. The Osterville Playground Committee has been working to refine a draft plan for the future playground at the site at the old Osterville Bay School, 99 West Bay Road. And a draft plan will be finalized this spring, hopefully, and so it can be presented to the public for feedback. That's some of what we're doing this week.
Man, oh man, I don't know how you guys keep up. That's awesome. That's some great stuff, and appreciate all that update. Any questions or comments on the LCP update or the weekly recap?
I do have one thing.
Yeah.
This is
Is your mic on? Just double check.
missed it.
Okay.
This is an ongoing passion. I know several members of the board, and I spoke briefly with Jim about the progress of affordable attaining housing. And we actually are making some headway now. There are actually bedrooms being built, and I believe, are there affordable units at the place back of Home Depot? Aren't there?
Yes, 13% will be affordable at
Yeah.
that location, and I believe the lottery is out right now for that.
So we are making good headway. I was going to ask Jim, and of course with the chairman's indulgence, that perhaps we get an update on, in general, where are we with the housing effort for the town? We've talked a lot about it, and I think we do have some wins, and I think there's more in the pipeline, and I think it's a good thing to keep, periodically up front and visible.
100%. Yeah, I mean, I'll mention a couple things. I had CPC earlier tonight, and we received the update from the trust, which certainly could be shared with this board. I also asked if the trust could come to CPC to make a presentation. Possibly they could make that same presentation to planning board if we could schedule that maybe for a future meeting. Also recommend that town council has initiated a subcommittee for housing, to look into housing. And currently the appointments committee is considering candidates, and I think that will get going soon. So yeah, definitely things going on, and let's keep the conversation going.
Good show, Mr. Chair.
Excellent. Tim, anything to add before we move along?
The only thing I was going to kind of piggyback with Ray is specifically on the form-based code. Was the planning department keeping track of like permitted units under the form-based code? Not just affordable, but just overall, what applications have come in affected by that zoning?
Yep, absolutely. So we don't have the line in the sand as to the when the zoning came into play, but we do have since 2017, and so you can extract from some of the more recent projects. But
Is this the tool that's on the website?
yeah, so
Yeah, I think I've heard you talk about it before.
yeah, so we have a multifamily residential report that we update
wow.
monthly here, and if you go on the planning department's website, and then we update our spreadsheet monthly there. So in permitting right now, we have 191 total units being reviewed for permitting. Not every one of those will continue on, but they are beginning their initial review, and that doesn't include some that are already permitted, some of those that you guys are well familiar with, and then obviously under construction, these are very likely, almost exclusively actually, these have been approved prior to the new zoning in place. So under construction, final construction would predate our new zoning.
And does that include, like when it says permitting, does that include things that are like by right, like if someone applies for a building permit, it's not necessarily, has to come to the planning department to start at a board, that's some by right stuff in there as well?
That's right. So we take it from site plan review committee. So planning department sits on that as well. So each one that comes through, every project, every multifamily, so not single family, but anything multifamily comes through site plan review and would be added to this.
Phenomenal, and I think that this was discussed years ago by all of us. I know
Right.
Ray brought it up, and, we wanted to see the results in person, and this is that in living form, so great job.
This is great.
I'll look at that closer, so phenomenal. Bob, any, sorry, Tim, go.
Was there talk of a gong and one of those
Oh, God.
thermometers you fill in with a red Sharpie?
There was talk of a gong.
That's the DOD dashboard.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
Going to delegate gong responsibilities to Ray. Bob, anything?
good, thanks.
All right. Michael, anything?
I'm all set.
All
Thank
right,
you.
excellent, excellent. Future meetings, May 13th and June 10th, 2024, 7 PM here in person. Anything else from staff before we adjourn? Okay, looking good. We'll have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Excellent. All those in favor? Ray?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
And myself, Steve Robichaud, votes aye. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thanks.